Hey everyone, Chris Lambert with Film Colossus here, and I saw Wolfman. It's my first movie of 2025. I was excited. I'm okay. I don't want to say I'm a big Lee Wanell fan. I don't even know how to say his last name. That's that's how much of like not a true fan that I am, right? But I loved Invisible Man. I'm not as big as on Upgrade as a lot of people are. Like there are people that go to bat for Upgrade. They will fight you about how great Upgrade is, and I'm not there. Upgrade was interesting. It had some cool aspects to it, but I just didn't love it. It felt a little by the numbers with some sense of style. Invisible Man, though, I've never seen Insidious movies, though, but Invisible Man was, I think, my favorite movie of 2020, but 2020 didn't have a lot of movies, to be fair. But I love Invisible Man. I think it's one of the most underrated horror movies of the last, like, 10 years. It's excellent. And so I was very excited about Wolfman because it's just like, okay, Lee's going to be in his bag. He's picking up another one of these classic characters and updating it for modern times. This is going to be good. This is going to be great, right? And I saw the mixed reviews. I saw people being like, eh. And I just wanted to I wanted them to be wrong. More than anything, I just wanted them to be wrong. And then I went to see it in the first 5 minutes. I'm just like, they're all wrong. They're all wrong. This is great. It's great cinematography, great moments. They're setting something up. This is cool. It's doing things. And by the time you get to the middle stretch, it really felt like there was a lack of creativity going on because the three people are just stuck in this house and there's very limited things that they're doing with the house that just kind of makes it feel bland. You're waiting for something more exciting to happen than what happens. Like, oh, they end up on the top of a greenhouse at one point. Ooh, like that's not cool enough. like, the movie has a lot of heart and a lot of emotion. It's just not. I don't know. It's lacking like a cool factor, and at times it feels almost a little silly when it's trying to be serious. And I just keep thinking about Barbarian and how much cooler Barbarian is. I keep thinking about Invisible Man and how much cooler Invisible Man is. And here's the thing, I'm going to tell you the secret sauce. Do you want to know the secret sauce? Micro narratives. There has to be a better word for it. It sounds so academic when I say micro narratives. Did you like that micro narrative? You're going to be like, this nerd. And microcosm sounds a little better, but that's also like not right. Did you like that microcosm? No. You're probably more familiar with set piece, but set piece is typically something in a blockbuster that implies like a large action sequence, right? Like the set piece of a chase sequence in Terminator 2. So I'm still trying to find a term. Maybe there's one that already exists, but I'm trying to make one up. I'm trying to plant a flag here. So micro narratives for the time being, if you'll allow me that. But it's just really like a scene that has a beginning, middle, and end unto itself, right? And it feels very much almost like a short story within a movie. And I think the best example of this in all of cinema, like if I'm going to teach a class and I'm introducing this and I'm like, do you want to know about micronarratives? This is the best movie to have ever done micronarratives. It's Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl. That movie is just micronarrative chained to micronarrative chained to micronarrative. Because a lot of movies will do like a scene based on information, which is what Wolfman does. Like most of the scenes are providing an information, a piece of information about the setting, about a character, about the plot, about the theme. It's one of those things every time, which is what most movies do, right? It's every shot or every moment is trying to convey something about a character, about the plot, or about the theme. That's what you're trying to accomplish over and over again. But the movies that really, I think, have momentum and feel powerful and impressive are the ones that don't just think about it on the individual level of, okay, I conveyed that bit of information, let's go to the next bit of information. It's we're setting up this little microcosm, this little micro narrative that has a beginning, middle, and end, and we're chaining together a number of pieces of information or multiple pieces of information throughout this. But this is what's going to happen in this moment. What can we fill it with? And that's what Invisible Man also did so well. It was like each sequence in that movie was this really creative, really unique micro narrative where you're just seeing like a cool use of the camera or a cool use of a character, like the restaurant scene where the main character goes to meet her sister, just like burned into your mind. Or when she's in her bedroom and she knows somebody's in the room with her. It's just these great sequences. And Wolfman had a few of those. every now and again, like, oh, they're sitting on top of the greenhouse now. But for the most part, it just felt like we're getting like fed information. It was like chaining information, and it wasn't creating sequences or these memorable moments. And I think that's really where the movie ultimately will lose the audience or lost the audience, because the energy level just falls and you're waiting for something unique and interesting to happen, and it doesn't. The best bits are at the very beginning of the movie, because that's when it was most focused on like interesting micro narratives, like dynamic micro narratives, and not getting into like the boring flow of events that it ended up having. So I mean, Christopher Abbott gave a great performance, but it also felt like nobody else was really allowed to do all that much. Like Julie Garner's excellent and is always excellent in everything I've seen her in. And this felt like she didn't have any moments to really embody her character. It just felt like Julie Garner being Julie Garner and getting to have a few scenes here and there. But the development of her character and the daughter just wasn't there. And while there is a theme of like trauma and how trauma is passed down from a parent to a child, and then that child grows up and becomes a parent and passes their trauma down, there's something there with that. It just never really felt like it went anywhere, where the toxic relationship that's part of Invisible Man, or abusive relationship, and the exploration of that and how that theme's utilized throughout the movie just felt so sharp and powerful and smart. And this didn't quite have the same heft. So disappointing. In terms of 2025 ranking, it's the first movie on here. It's the only movie on here. And I'm putting it in positives because overall the shot selection was good. Actually, am I putting it in positives? Like, I really liked the cinematography and I liked some moments, but no, I'm moving it down to neutral. No, God, I'm moving it again. Almost. It's an almost. It's an almost. It had the ingredients. It just never cooked. So, eh, eh. If you missed it, we did put out the first video of our watching the top 250 movies on Letterboxd. Harakiri was the first movie, so that's now up on the channel. You can go watch that. If I was a good YouTuber, I would have a link, or I would have the tab open so I could be like, go watch. But we're going to be doing the next movie in that series, Come and See. And then, of course, when I watch another movie in 2025, I'll make a video on that. But disappointing way to start. Until next time, cheers.